In the frozen wilderness of northern Alaska, a group of geologists made an incredible discovery. A man who had been frozen 40,000 years has been discovered, perfectly preserved in the ice. When thawed for research, it comes to life. The scene is set in the Arctic, where we see a team of workers in protective helmets, who are busy working in a frozen cave. The cave is located in an isolated area, surrounded by snowy mountains. The workers are wrapping a net around a large chunk of ice, which they connect to a helicopter. The chunk of ice is then hoisted into the air and flown over the mountainous landscape to a nearby research facility. At the facility, a fax is received revealing that the ice folds an archaeological and anthropological discovery of immense importance. The discovery was made during a drilling and blasting operation, which prompted the calling of a renowned anthropologist, Stanley Shepard, to provide his expertise. When he arrives, he is ridiculed by the others, including Maynard, for his foul smell. He is escorted past several caged animals to the heart of the operation, where he joins the group in wondering about the discovery. The group is curious to find out what is inside the ice and uses a laser to cut away excess ice. They are able to see what they think is a Neanderthal or an early human species. They melt the ice, revealing a remarkably preserved body dressed in animal skins. Upon removing the clothing, they find a pendant around the neck and a small purse with belongings, including a handcrafted artifact resembling a bird made of hair. The doctors, led by Dr. Diane Brady, examine the body and perform a transfusion to stimulate the circulation of oxygenated blood around the corpse. To their surprise, the scans show that the caveman's cells are metabolizing, and there is some brain activity. The doctors react by giving oxygen with a ventilator and using a defibrillator to try to restart the caveman's heart. After several attempts, they succeed, and Brady announces that the caveman is alive. He wakes up, appearing frightened in his new surroundings. Later, the doctors, including Shepard, discuss their next steps. Brady and others argue for using the caveman for research, as it would offer insight into how he survived for so long and be beneficial for modern medicine. Shepard, however, negotiates for a 2-week monitoring period to study the caveman's behavior and way of life. Eventually, the others agree to this plan. As a result, we soon witness the ancient being coming to life in what looks like natural surroundings. He grabs some nearby berries and squeezes them. He is overjoyed to see the juice from them flow between his fingers. He also notices birds above him and starts gesturing to them. Then, using 2 small rocks, he creates a fire. The next morning, after a shower under a waterfall, the caveman begins hunting. He moves quickly and lightly over rocks and through a cave. He is armed with a sharp stick he has shaped into a spear. He manages to trap a wild boar, skewering it with the stick. He now has plenty of food and hot fire. Soon, however, the man starts discovering the hidden parts of this artificial space. First, he finds what seems to be a shower head within a stream. This is connected to a long plastic tube, which he digs up, following it to a metal door. He forces open the door, finding several of the doctors and caged animals just behind it. He quickly runs away, climbing up a wall, screaming and waving his arms around wildly. At this point, one of the friendlier members of the team, Loomis, takes action. He shoots the caveman with a tranquilizer dart, preventing him from hurting himself, despite Shepard's protest. Once tranquilized, the group again debate over what to do next. The body is taken by Brady and her team against the wishes of Shepard. He is desperate to have those 2 weeks that were promised to study the behavior of this man. Brady, on the other hand, tells him that this is just the way things are, as the unconscious man is wheeled away. What will his fate become? Later that evening, Shepard confronts Brady, persuading her to watch some videos with him. These videos show various tribespeople from around the world performing remarkable physical feats. It seems that they are able to endure tremendous amounts of pain. Brady believes this to be psychological and mostly due to their brain power. Shepard, on the other hand, argues that they can do this due to a chemical that their body is able to produce. He suggests that the cavemen too might share this ability. They should therefore allow him to continue living, allowing them more time to study him. Back in his artificial world, we see that Shepard has won the debate. He enters the arena and approaches the being, despite the aggressive gesticulations of the caveman. He is soon overpowered. As the caveman threatens to hit him with a rock, he suddenly appears more curious than he is threatening. He begins to poke and probe Shepard's body, trying to figure out if they are of the same species. Then, confidently, he taps himself on the chest in an attempt to introduce himself. He makes some noises, and they pick up what sounds like Charlie, and from this point, this is what he becomes known as. As they become more comfortable in each other's presence, Charlie attempts to share further information with Shepard. He gestures to the sky, uttering something that sounds a little like Peter, Pita. Then he points to his chest. Here we see a number of scratches and cuts, very much resembling the bird-shaped bundle of hair Charlie had been carrying on his person. Later, while sat in a bar, Shepard convinces Brady to enlist the help of a linguist, Professor Chapman. Chapman is soon airlifted in and begins to analyze recordings that have been made of Charlie's speech. Meanwhile, Shepard and Charlie continue communicating, sharing words for the items they see around them, such as rock. Shepard also attempts to engage with and stimulate Charlie by singing him the song Heart of Gold as they sit beside a campfire. Next, we find Charlie back in the medical facility, with the doctors analyzing his blood. During this process, they observe that Charlie's body temperature is dropping and his vital signs are diminishing. We return to the artificial wilderness, where Shepard is desperately trying to persuade Charlie that he had nothing to do with the tests that were conducted on him. Charlie, armed with a stick, swings it towards Shepard, but misses him. He then seems to plead with Shepard to kill him. Shepard is clearly worried by this development. He thinks Charlie needs more stimulation, so he asks Brady to join him in interacting with the caveman. After some discussion, she agrees and follows him to meet Charlie. Charlie tries to welcome her by giving her a beetle. She feels like throwing up, but Shepard convinces her to swallow it, thus gaining Charlie's trust. Curious, Charlie then starts to touch Brady, just like he had done before with Shepard. However, before he reaches any sensitive areas, Shepard intervenes. He pulls the doctor close to him and tells Charlie she is mine. Charlie initially responds by offering Shepard the showerhead in an attempt to trade Brady for it. The offer is, of course, rejected. Charlie seems to accept this. Soon, Charlie begins to draw what looks like his wife and 2 children in the dirt using a stick. However, he is suddenly distracted by the noise of a helicopter taking off from the facility. Fascinated, Charlie starts pointing upwards, shouting his word Pita over and over. He quickly climbs up the rocks towards the roof. The others, concerned he will injure himself, signal the helicopter to go away. Eager to establish a cultural connection with modern-day Inuit people, Shepard meets with some of their elders. They sing to him, and he tries his best to communicate with them. However, he seems to have offended them. After their conversation, Shepard claims Charlie believes the helicopter is his god. It is the mythical bird he carried a resemblance of with him, which is also tattooed on his chest. He tells Brady he thinks Charlie was frozen when on a dream walk. He suggests Charlie was looking for his god in order to sacrifice himself, thus saving his own people which were dying around him. Left alone, the ever-inquisitive Charlie manages to open the door to the facility, mimicking the actions of Shepard. He explores the inner parts of the complex. He is intrigued but also scared, breaking a mirror and knocking over various items along his way. The first person he encounters is Maynard. At this moment, Charlie is caught off guard and stabs him in the stomach using his spear. He continues his exploration of the rooms and the corridors. He then finds an emergency exit to the outside world. He forces his way through and is excited by the snow he sees all around him. Seeing the helicopter above, he runs towards it, arms outstretched, yelling Pita and also Seka, the word modern-day Inuits use for their god. Unfortunately, as he gets closer, the helicopter makes a sharp turn. One of its skids hits Charlie, knocking him unconscious. Fortunately, though, he is unharmed. Back in the compound, Shepard approaches Loomis asking for help. He wants to help Charlie complete his dream walk. Loomis negotiates with some scientists to help him escape the laboratory unnoticed. Shepard then walks with Charlie through the snow. Suddenly, an alarm is triggered in the laboratory, and people try to find the escapee in the snowmobile and helicopter. Charlie runs and Shepard tries to stop him, but a huge pile of snow falls between them, creating a barrier. When a helicopter reaches a low height, Charlie jumps onto it. One of the helicopter pilot tries to hold Charlie to pull into cockpit, but Charlie seems to be ecstatic, believing that the messenger is taking him to his god. He releases his grip, seemingly to float through the sky, while he plunges to his death. The film ends with Stanley Shepard, the anthropologist who revived Charlie, watching in horror as Charlie falls to his death. However, Shepard's initial horror turns into joy. As he realizes that Charlie has reached his dreamwalk goal that he began 40,000 years earlier, even though it means his death.